Mukesh Kapila joins us from Geneva. He is the Professor of Global Health and Humanitarian Affairs at the University of Manchester. Professor, thank you for your time. So we have possibly human trials starting on a Turkish vaccine before the end of the year. A state in Brazil has already agreed to produce the Russian vaccine. We have Argentina and Mexico, who together say when the AstraZeneca vaccine is going to be ready, they are going to produce it for all of Latin America, except Brazil. So things are moving. What are the caveats that you're looking out for?
I think it's great that many teams are working on the vaccine. And it's also great that many countries like Turkey or Mexico or Brazil and others and India and such like are gearing up to produce vaccines when one becomes available or several becomes available. Well, the two things to look out for are obviously safety, above all else. We know from vaccine history that some vaccines can actually make matters worse if they're not properly controlled, the research is not properly done. And the second thing, of course, is effectiveness. A bad vaccine, a vaccine that doesn't work or actually makes the disease worse, is quite obviously would be appalling and would be far worse than having no vaccine at all. So the best way to ensure that a vaccine is effective and that it is safe and that the public can therefore have trust and confidence in it is to ensure that the scientific information on which the vaccine is being developed is openly and freely shared. Unfortunately, that is not happening all the time at the moment.
What about the issue of the virus mutating? Because it's believed that too many mutations or severe mutations could possibly lead to a vaccine becoming less effective or not effective at all. What do we know about the mutations of this virus at the moment?
Well, viral mutations are always happening. That's why, we have influenza vaccines which have to be reformulated every year. As far as the coronavirus that gives us COVID-19 is concerned, there are mutations, there have been mutations, but from what we know so far in the past 8 months of tracking, the level of mutations is not very high. And the spike, which is the target of many of the vaccines, doesn't appear to be affected so much. Now, time will tell whether or not a more serious mutation will take place. But as things stand at the moment, I think the coronavirus is stable enough for us to persist with the many, many efforts that are underway in the hope that several of them will be successful.
Okay, clearly I'm not an expert, so tell me if this is a bad question. Does the fact that it's now believed that antibodies produced in patients who have had COVID-19, that those antibodies don't last too long, does that have implications for the development of a vaccine?
Well, very much. I think the amount of antibodies and their duration has an impact on the effectiveness of any vaccine and how long it lasts. Now, in the case of the coronavirus, we are still learning about the immunity situation. We know that many of the candidate vaccines do produce antibodies, but we also are learning that it is not just the antibodies that are important. There are other components of the human immune system called the T cells, which are also important. And the combination of the antibodies and the cellular immunity, as it's called, is going to determine the robustness of the human protective response. And to be honest, we don't know about that yet because we haven't been studying this long enough. However, I think if other experience is anything to go by, it's a reasonable prospect that there will be that if you get proven immunity, then it is likely to at least last several months. And once bioengineering is in place, no reason why the virus cannot be adjusted and further new doses be given if necessary. I mean, in time, as we have to live with the virus, which might well change, linking it to your previous question, it may well be that we will have to have a COVID vaccine which is reformulated each year and given each year. We're already doing that with influenza, and there's no reason why it can't be done with COVID either. So I wouldn't be too pessimistic on this particular front. I think we're making progress, and provided a safe vaccine is possible and it works, we will find the biomedical solutions to making sure that the vaccination policies are sustained.
Really so interesting to hear your thoughts, Professor. Thank you so much indeed. Mukesh Kapila speaking to us from Geneva.